All right. Well, good evening, folks. We have a special show tonight. This is the first one of these that I've ever done. We are kind of teaching a little Lobster 101 class tonight. We have a few folks on the call tonight. We have, it looks like 16 folks so far, and maybe more to come throughout the little time period here tonight. Just wanted to remind everyone to keep their mics muted until the Q&A period, just so it helps with the flow of the show. We have folks on here, hopefully from my page, from Gila Jed's page, and also from the collective page, which is out of Australia. And I've got one gentleman on here, Shane, who is on here with me, who will hopefully help me if I fall into a bad spot, which hopefully I won't. But we will see how that goes. Okay, so what I want to just kind of go over just a little housekeeping stuff. What I am sharing tonight is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only, and never spend more than you are willing to lose. And I also wanted to just say that 99%, 99.9% of the assets I will be sharing are not expected to go up in value until the RV happens, meaning we are investing in assets that will have a much greater value when the global currency revaluation happens. I recommend subscribing to Whiplash 347, Quantum Stellar Initiative, and to the collective page on Telegram. Those three sites are very key sites in getting information, about the Lobstr Wallet. We believe that Whiplash and Emily are connected to the White Hats, the Global Alliance, the good guys, so to speak. We also believe that they are giving us a direction to go in as far as companies that will have their assets seized because of nefarious actions. Many believe that Trump alluded to this while he was in office, and many believe he was talking in code when he said, "Enjoy your lobstering and fishing. Make lots of money." He actually said that. But I guess tonight it's kind of hard to know at this point how many have a Lobstr account and how many do not. If people want to just chat, let's do this. If anyone does not have a Lobstr account and needs to completely see it from the beginning to the end, if you could just maybe chat into the chat box. Or if you want to speak, you can just unmute yourself and just say, "Hey, I don't have one. I have no clue what to do." And just kind of give me an idea. Okay, there's a clueless. Annette is clueless on Lobstr, which is fine.
You won't be after this. Put it that way.
Hi, I'm Janine I'm Jean. Everyone calls me Jean.
Okay.
From Port Macquarie in New South Wales, Australia. So I'm here as a newbie. I've been introduced through one of the members. So yeah, I'm pretty clueless as well. But
Okay.
got to call before you walk. Thank you for having me too.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we are, I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen if I can. And kind of just open up the Lobstr page itself. Can everybody see that fairly well? Is that pretty legible? Okay. So I'm actually signed in right now. Let me just sign out real quick. I hardly ever get on the web version of this, but I'm usually doing this stuff on my phone most of the time. So that's another point. There is two platforms on this program. There is a mobile platform which supports iOS and Android, and there's also a PC Mac version, and the two work pretty seamless, but there are some differences on the two that you will see once you start working on the Lobstr Wallet. Usually, like I said, on the first or when I'm just looking to, maybe if I get a hint or do some research on an asset, I may just go to my phone because it's pretty quick. It's right there. I can grab it and look up an asset, and if I'm interested, I purchase it. Where on the computer, you can actually, if you're doing a lot of initial purchases, if you plan on doing a lot of purchases on Lobstr, I recommend getting on the PC or the Mac, the computer version, just because some of the things that we'll talk about tonight is another site called the SDEX, which helps out in researching. I actually have a copy of the Whiplash asset page that we'll look at tonight briefly, and then I also have a copy of Quantum Brownie sheet from the collective resources. So we've got quite a bit of stuff to go over, but let's just look at the Lobstr screen, and it's spelled LOBSTR. So if you go to lobstr.co and just sign in, I'm actually logged out right now, but once you get there, if it'll come up for me, I'll log out and seems like it goes away. Let me try that again. Lobstr.co. There we go. Okay, so when you're beginning this journey, you're basically going to go to get started. And this is pretty much like any other site. Of course, this is popping up my stuff here, but when you do this, you will be entering this for the first time. So you're basically going to be putting in your email address. You're going to be entering a new password for the first time. And I recommend writing all this stuff down so you don't forget. And then you're going to hit create account. And just so we save time tonight, I went ahead and set up a little mock account. I'm not going to go through the whole process because I did it early, and I'm glad I did, because it would have wasted so much time tonight. But basically, it's going to give you, ask you, it'll actually pull up a screen, and I should have screenshotted it and showed it to you, but it'll ask you, or it'll provide 12 words, basically 12 mnemonic phrases. And those phrases are going to be in order. So it may be like block, sand, cat, dog, just random words. And the reason they do that is because it's a security feature, and you need to write those down and keep them somewhere really safe and keep them in that order, because when you sign on the first time, they're actually going to go back and ask you, hey, what's your phrases? And you have to key them. They'll actually put them all down below, but they'll be all jumbled up. And you actually have to go in and click them in order each time. So if it was like cat, dog was 1, 2, you definitely have to hit cat, dog, and then the rest of the 10. So that is a very important right out of the gate kind of thing that you have to remember when you're setting up an account. And Shane, if I forget something, feel free to chime in here. But once you get in, you will actually get some email confirmations, basically saying, hey, you need to go over and, well, the first thing, once you do get in, you'll get a welcome email from Lobstr saying, greetings, verify your email. You click the button and it'll pretty much verify that you're a new user. You're setting up your account for the first time, and it'll take you back to your Lobstr account, and you can then sign on in. And then once you get signed in, you'll get some other email saying you had a successful login. And then earlier, I also transferred some Stellar over to this account just because it had 0 in it, just so we can show a couple of things later on. But it's pretty self-explanatory, that part of it, as far as setting the account up. And once you do get the account set up, you want to come back over here. Working on a new computer is not fun. Come back to Lobstr, and then you just go to sign in. And I'm going to type this and this, and hopefully it remembered me. And here's some other quirky little things that come up. So I had in my notes to put this down because I know people would ask about it. When you sign in, sometimes it'll say something to the effect, hey, we don't recognize your IP address. So you need to key in, you need to go and verify your email, and they'll send you an email and there'll be a little button on there. It says verify IP address. You hit it. It kind of is another security feature. It brings you back. Then you log in, and usually it'll let you in unless you get this here. And all this is called CAPTCHA. And it basically says select all squares with chimneys. You guys have probably seen this before a lot. It comes up randomly. Sometimes on the phone it comes up, and sometimes on the computer it comes up, and sometimes it doesn't. It's just kind of random. But I think it's more of a security feature. So I'm just going to select those two there because that's the two squares it looks like for me that have chimney involved with chimneys. And then you hit OK, and then you hit sign in, and let's see if it'll let us in, and it did. Okay, so once you get in, you'll see your login up here. You hit the drop down. I'll have a balance of $8.73, and that represents 100 Stellar right now, based on today's rate of Stellar. So that's basically what the wallet looks like on the home button. Once you get into this and start playing around with it, there's actually a send or receive feature here where you can actually send Stellar or some of the other assets to other wallets. Or if you were to give someone your Stellar address and they were going to send you some Stellar, this is where you would get that address here. You can copy it, send it to someone, email it, text it. This is a Federation address. I don't know a whole lot about that one. If Shane knows about it more than I do, he can explain it, but I pretty much stay with the Stellar address. That may be something they're going to use down the road at some point, but the Stellar address is the main thing that you want to focus on. And once you establish your wallet, this address will never change. It'll always be your wallet address. So that's really important.
Yeah, that's correct. Just on the Stellar address, that can be used in the same fashion as the G address or the public address, as we call it. So if you're looking to send, for example, you've got a humanitarian project that has a Stellar address that might be for the children star lobster.co, that's a lot easier to remember than the great big long G address. So once you've established your wallet, first thing you need to do is set your Federation address, and that you can do and change at a later point in time if you wish. But just quickly, one of the things I'll do for you, Tracy, as well, is post this meeting, I'm happy to transfer to you an actual form fillable PDF that I've put together on behalf of the collective for registering your wallet name, your email address, your password, your 12-word passphrase, then your security, all of those. So, for example, I've got 5 wallets because I've segregated my assets across the different wallets. I've got 5 individual sheets for those. So I will never not be able to get into those wallets unless, of course, the network comes down, which is highly doubtful. But that I'm happy to share with you. You can then share that to your members if they wish.
Sure, absolutely. And just so everyone knows, Lobstr, trying to get my pen here. Lobstr is a Stellar wallet. So I don't know how much you guys know about crypto in general, but Stellar is a cryptocurrency. Some people call it digital assets, along with 3,500 plus other assets out there. The cool thing about Stellar is it's one of the ISO 222 tokens. The others being XRP, XLM, Algo, IOTA, and I said Algorand. What am I missing here? XDC. Those are the 5 big ones. And currently, XLM is obviously a Stellar or a Lobstr part of the Lobstr wallet, and it's on Lobstr. XRP is actually on there as well. And I've had a lot of questions about that. That's actually under fchain.io. So those are currently, I think, the only 2 ISO 222 tokens. And when I say that, if you don't recognize that, that's coins that have been approved, so to speak. They're what we are looking at in the future that will be asset-backed tokens, XLM being backed by silver, XRP backed by gold. And I can't remember the other ones. There's a platinum and some other ones, copper. But these are tried and true cryptos that have really, passed the test, so to speak. They're going to be in the front of the line when this whole thing goes down. And but Stellar, XLM, and XRP are probably the two biggest ones. And there's a great debate on which one's better. But I like them both. I have them both. So, but I did want to tell you, Lobstr is a Stellar wallet, along with other Stellar wallets like Solar Wallet, Keybase, and Scopuli. Those are other Stellar wallets as well. So Lobstr is not the only wallet out there for Stellar. There's other ones, but it is probably the easiest one to use. It's the one we recommend. Everybody gets, once you start using it, it just becomes really easy to learn. It's really easy to use. Now, they have had their little quirkiness over the last couple of years. We ran into situations where we were looking up assets and certain people were telling us, Whiplash and Emily, hey, these are good. And you come on here and they may have a little warning symbol that, hey, those are not good. There's kind of a fight right now between good and bad in everything, not just political and global, but also even in digital assets. So, we have to just trust who we're listening to. And we kind of put aside some of those scam asset warnings that we see. Let's see. Currently, just giving you a little info on the Lobstr wallet. I don't know what everyone's intentions are. If you're just going to be a casual user, if you're going to be like a mega user where you're going to get five wallets like Shane has here. I'm sure he has a process set up. He actually said he is separating his wallets by type, like category type. When I first started doing this, I actually kept a huge spreadsheet myself, and it just helped me remember, where my assets were, because you can really, believe it or not, go through 1,000 assets pretty quick. If you're really, once you get into this and you start looking at some of the assets, and we're going to look at a few of them tonight, not a whole lot. Tonight's more about just setting up and getting started. But you can really go through 1,000 assets. So if you are pretty familiar with how to use a spreadsheet, I would recommend, like if you bought 10 assets today, maybe log them in. Hey, this is on Lobstr wallet number 1. I purchased all these today. Because at some point, you may get to that point where you're going to get to wallet number 2 and start buying assets. And you're going to try to remember, hey, did I already buy that one or not? Well, you pull up your little spreadsheet and it's going to give you a quick reminder where you have everything. So that's just one little quirky thing that I do, just to help me keep all this organized, because I kind of knew I was going to, once I started buying, I started looking at all the items. And if you go down to, I guess let's just go down one by one. So there's a buy and sell crypto feature here, and this allows you to purchase Stellar within the wallet itself. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say this is through MoonPay. And I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with MoonPay, but it basically works with a credit card. And you literally just come in here and type in, if you were going to buy $500 worth of XLM, I don't know why it's not telling me how much you're going to get, but usually it'll tell you.
I think, have we got a value in the account as yet?
Yeah.
Tracy, you've
I've
funded
got a little.
Yeah. Okay. That's weird that it's not coming up with that.
Yeah. So if I go to assets right now, I have 100. Yeah. I have 100 Stellar. It's only $8. But this is a feature that works. If you're just going to buy $100 worth of Stellar, you can do it here. Some people like to purchase it at other places. And it depends. This is kind of it's a hard place or a hard thing to talk about because people do this totally different than everybody else. I have an Uphold account. I have a crypto.com account. I have an Atomic wallet, and I have Exodus wallet, and I have some other kind of wallets. I have quite a bit of different ways of purchasing Stellar, and that's going to be totally up to you. I can't tell you how to do it, would they all work, pretty good. Some people just like the comfort of doing it here because it's here, you're already here. And if you're looking to get it pretty quick, it actually happens pretty quick. I know in some states, and I'm not sure about Australia, but at least in our country here, New York is pretty got the chains pulled down pretty tight on digital assets. And because I know several people that live up there, and they tell me they can't buy certain coins and tokens and things. So it's different in each state, but this is one way to do it here. You can purchase your Stellar right here on the Lobstr wallet itself. And like I said, if you do have a Uphold account, or if you want to open up an Uphold account, you can purchase it there, and you can literally transfer it from that wallet over here to Lobstr. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. Shane, do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I was going to just add that we have seen, certainly in Australia, I mean, I initially funded my first Lobstr wallet almost 2.5 years ago now with MoonPay, and it did take about probably an hour and a half nervous wait, having sent the money into the fiat money into the digital space, wondering if it was going to arrive at the other end. It did. Then MoonPay started to slow down in this country, but then as we've progressed, a lot of these other exchanges that have popped up, our intermediary, hence they're called exchanges, don't leave anything on the hot exchange, what we call the hot exchange. Most people who are getting into this would have heard of FTX and the debacle there. That was considered a hot exchange, meaning once you've converted your fiat money, your fiat currency into the digital space, it's sitting there, but it's held by the hot exchange. Your money is their money until you get it off the exchange into a secure blockchain wallet like Stellar. So Lobstr is an interface like a web browser that allows us to see what's on the Stellar network. So, for example, now I'll use CoinSpot here in Australia, because CoinSpot have got a digital MasterCard attached to it. Now I can transfer, and I've done this in this country. It would be 6 months ago now when it first came out to prove the process. I've got money, or I've got tokens, XLM, XRP, all my other assets, but I sent XLM from my Lobstr wallet back to my CoinSpot account. And because I've got the digital representation, there's no physical MasterCard, it's just a digital card stored in my phone, bought a coffee over the counter using the current fiat Cabal-based credit card system, but it's a debit card. So I can only spend what I've got, which is a good thing, and we all need to get into that space. But as Tracy said, there's a number of those different exchanges now available. It just depends on which one is available to you in the country or the location that you reside in. And my recommendation is, and I'm sure Tracy will nod in agreement with this, is do a $10 or a $15 process first. Prove the process before you go, I'm going to send $1,000 across, because you need that assurance that this process works. And it's a lot less of a kick in the shin to lose $10 or $50 than it is $1,000.
Yeah, it is different. It is scary. And I can remember the first time I ever bought cryptocurrency. It was in 2015 on Coinbase. And at the time it was Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that was it. There was only two. Actually, I take that back. When I first bought it, it was only Bitcoin. So I bought $25 worth of Bitcoin just to try it out. And this was way back, and all of a sudden Bitcoin started growing and growing. And I kept putting in a little bit every week, just testing the water, trying it out, and then transferred it over to Ethereum, and I just kind of put it to the side, and didn't do anything with it. And next thing I know, I had a pretty good bit of money. And then when Litecoin came out, I actually bought a lot of Litecoin. And if you know anything about the historical cryptocurrency chart, and you saw in 2017, it did a pretty much blow off top back then. And, and dumb me, I should have jumped out then and there, but I kept everything in there. But well, I guess where I'm going with it is, if this is your first time sticking your toes in the water of digital assets, it is going to be the thing of the future. This is going to be our new world at some point, and I don't know, and I'm sure Shane doesn't know, if eventually Lobstr is going to be the wallet we're going to go with, or if it's going to be another kind of wallet. There may be a quantum QFS wallet that may be connected with Stellar, but they could easily go in and scan our accounts, our Federation address or our Stellar address, and move all those funds at the click of a finger into this new world that we're going to go into at some point. But it is the wave of the future. It's the new thing that we're going to be doing and transacting with. I think everything's going to be tokenized at some point. But the good thing about it is it's going to eliminate all of the dark money that's been circulating around the world for many, many, many years, thousands of years. There's no tracing some of the stuff, the money, the fiat currencies. Digital money is more traceable. It's actually pretty guaranteed. So if someone is buying something illegal, whether it's drugs, human trafficking, or whatever, any kind of nefarious actions, they can see it. So it's going to get rid of all of that, and that's actually a really good thing. So let's keep on going down. So once you do start buying your assets, I'm going to buy a couple of things tonight and just show you how it looks when we actually do buy. But right now, like I said, I only have 100 XLM in here in this particular wallet. There is a swap feature or swap assets on here that you can do. And once you have, tokens in here, if you wanted to swap like one coin to another, that is a feature here that you can do. It doesn't seem like you're going to be doing that at all, but at some point you might. You might have bought a coin that you really don't want to get into, or if you bought a coin with Stellar that you're like, well, I want to get back out of that and get back into Stellar, you can totally reverse it. There's a little reverse feature here showing that the default coins that come up are USDC and XLM. But if you hit the drop down, there's a lot more assets once you start adding assets to your account. Okay, this is the trade feature. Once you get your tokens and your balance, you'll come up to the trade section, and we're going to talk more about this in a little bit. This is I'm just trying to go through and making sure I get all my bases covered here, but we'll show you the trade feature here in a little bit. Transactions. This is literally a record keeping of all the transactions that you will ever do on your wallet. So I only have one transaction. That's where I transferred in 100 XLM from another wallet, and that's there. So and it'll show you sent, which I haven't sent any, all the received, which is the one, and if there's any pending, it'll show you that here. So it's a real slick program. The record keeping is phenomenal. It's unbelievable. Contacts. If you this is a default thing that comes up if you want to donate to Lobstr, some Lobstr.co organization, but you can, and I'm sure Shane has done this before. So once you start getting more wallets, so if you have multiple wallets, you can actually send money back and forth from wallet 1 to wallet 2 or wallet 2 to wallet 3. You just basically go into the contacts and add a new contact. You have to have that public key or Federation address, and then you can call it a name, like if it's Lobstr 1 or Lobstr 2. And once you start adding those wallets, they'll show up here multiple. So like, for example, I started a wallet, my very first wallet, and I get a pretty good chunk of a token called Aqua every month. And as soon as I get that Aqua, I go into my Lobstr number 1 and I transfer it over to another wallet of mine. And because that wallet is already full, it's got 1,000 assets, I really can't do anything anymore with it. But I do want to do something with it. So I transfer that balance over to another wallet, and I'm able to either transfer to Stellar or do whatever I want to do with it. So there's a lot of functionality with it.
Hi, Princess.
Let's see here. Access history.
Andy, stop the show.
This is just where you have got on your account, logged in, logged out, that sort of thing. Settings. This is your Stellar address. This is my Stellar address for this wallet. your profile. If you want to go back in and put all your name, your phone number, I don't think you have to, but you may want to. Security.
Just
Go ahead.
quickly, if I can, on that one.
Yep.
Just be aware on your profile that your first wallet, if you add your account email, that's fine. That's bound to this particular wallet. If you put your mobile phone number in, that's fine. It'll be bound to this particular wallet.
Stop it.
If you then go and want to set up a second wallet, you can't use the same email address, and certainly you won't be able to use the same mobile phone number, but you don't have to have a mobile phone number. You do have to have a second email address. So it's very important that you consider at this point in time what you intend to do with your digital assets. If you're going to go down the path of humanitarian projects, and like I'm doing, I intend to roll money from the RV, the physical currency exchange, into Lobstr as well and fund ongoing projects. So I've set up for what we call generational wealth, whereby my number of different wallets, one of those wallets just holds certain assets that are dividend returners and the gold and precious metals type assets. So for example, every 6 months or every year when those dividends pay out, I then make a decision. If I get, for a figure example, $10,000 or 10,000 digits, coins, whatever they wind up calling them, it might be 10,000 XLM back for those dividends. I then make a choice on what percentage I'm going to transfer across to a project, leave and reinvest, transfer a percentage across for humanitarian use, for family use, depending on what I decide to do with it. But it's important that you consider what your intention is and map that out now. And I'm sure that's why Tracy uses Proton Mail, as I do as well, because you can subscribe to the Proton Mail service like you can with a number of other services and have a primary email address and then have what we call an alias address off that primary email. So if you've got 5 wallets like I have, I've got wallet 0, wallet 1, wallet 2, wallet 3, wallet 4. All of the emails associated with changing on networks, changing IP addresses, all of that admin comes to the primary email inbox. I don't have to run around and administer 5 or 6 different email accounts. It's the one account. It makes your life so much easier. And I'm sure that's something that happy to work with Tracy moving forward on future sessions, because all of this information for the people who have never seen this before, it's like drinking from a fire hose. All right. You're getting all this information at once. Like, oh, slow down. Yes, it's very complicated. Yes, it's very technical, but we need to break it down into small steps. But what I'm happy to do as well, Tracy, if you could go back up to receive as an option and bring up your Stellar address.
Yep.
I am now, and this is for a good reason, I am now on my iPhone going to scan that QR code and save it as Mr. Tracy. Because what I can do now that I have Mr. Tracy as a contact in my contacts list is I can, if you just want to go back to your main page, please, and this is coming from Melbourne, Australia, your time, I'm going to send as a test 10 XLM. And this is live, and I will just call it training transfer in the memo section. That could be an invoice number, or it could be a housekeeping amount from one wallet to another. All right, I've hit the send feature. And because I've got Vault connected, I've quickly got to jump across and approve that transfer. I've just confirmed it on the Stellar network. And if you do a refresh, you should see that come through. It's telling me success, and it'll come up under your received.
There it is.
There it is. Now that's it's a real-time transfer from Melbourne, Australia. I'd show you my iPhone, but it doesn't come up quite well enough in this format. But there we are. We've done a cross-continent, cross-border, cross-platform transfer from my iPhone on my home Wi-Fi across to you in Texas. How long did that take?
Seconds.
It's all right. We'll talk about it over. You either owe me a coffee or 10XLM, but that's all right. All good.
All right.
That's to build a bit of confidence in that, you know,
it is.
Tracy and I are neck deep in this stuff.
It's pretty impressive. That is impressive, because if you think of the types of money sending services that we have in the world today, MoneyGram is a better one, but for what is it? First Union, what is it called? You can go into certain stores and they have where you can wire money to someone in another country. You have to pay a excessive amount of fees. It may take more than a day, sometimes 2 days. But this here probably cost you, I mean, you gave up 10XLM, but it may have charged a little bit of a fraction of a XLM, very minimal. But the timing,
0.00001 of an XLM.
Yeah, and that is nothing. That is nothing. That's less than a penny.
Sub pennies.
Yes, and the timing of it coming. Now, what if he wanted to? You know, it was my birthday, and he loved me to death, and he wanted to send me 100,000 XLM. It's the same process. You know, it would take the same amount of time to get here. So just think about that. We talked about that earlier in the call. Paying for a car, paying for a sandwich, paying for, you know. You're starting to get the idea that, you know, we're going to be transacting hopefully one day on these Q phones that they're talking about, which is going to be QFS based, and Stellar is going to be hard coded into it, which was built by the military. So all of this is going to be secure. You know, I don't know if it's going to look at facial recognition or finger or how that's going to work, but I know the technology is supposed to be really, really sophisticated, way better than any iPhone or Google phone that you've ever had in your life. So all of this is going to work together in the future. But that was a pretty cool little trick there. I'm glad you did that, because I never thought about doing that on the air, but you guys can see how fast it happened. So we're looking at 7:42. I wanted to share something really quick with you guys. So this is the other website I was talking about. This is called sdexexplorer.com, and it's basically a list of assets. I want to say, is this, Shane, if you can help me confirm this, is this a Stellar exchange, or is it pretty much everything?
SDEX Explorer is pretty much everything.
Okay.
There's representations there. As you can see, you've got Bitcoin, you've got ETH, but the important thing is to look at the domain that those tokens and assets sit on. So yes, they are representations of Bitcoin.
Right.
So it's what we call a wrapped asset. So if you just go back up to XRP, third one down, you'll see the icon looks a bit different from the standard XRP. And that's because just under the wording of XRP, you can see it's on fchain.io.
Yeah.
So that is a Stellar account. And what they do is they'll take XRP, which is on the Ripple network. You'll hear a lot about networks in this space, in this sphere, in this economy. The network is what the asset or the token is built on. And that is why the Bitcoin network is on a different network, totally different machines, totally different process. You need to be really careful and understand and confirm what network you are buying or securing, as I call it, because we're not financial advisors. I'll say that out there as well. I'm just giving you, for entertainment and verification purposes, my experience that I've picked up in my travels along the way. I've taken the risk and mashing that button to get things sorted. So you really need to confirm the network of the asset that you're purchasing from. But XRP on the Stellar network is what we call a wrapped asset, meaning they'll take the native XRP asset and wrap it so that the value cannot be changed. It's a one-to-one transference. So a value of XRP in your Exodus wallet doesn't have a Lobstr wallet, but she has XRP on Exodus. Well, what you will need to do is set up the asset or set up a trust line, secure the asset in the Lobstr wallet, and then from Exodus, send to your Lobstr wallet an amount of XRP to fund your account, and it will turn up as XRP in the wallet on the fchain.io. Then what you do is swap an amount of your fchain.io XRP into XLM.
Right.
So for example, if you shift 500 XRP from your Exodus wallet, send it to your public address for your Lobstr wallet, it turns up as XRP and fchain.io. You may then transfer 250 of that 500 into XLM and start securing your assets using XLM.
Yeah.
You can do it using XRP, but you're not going to get a fair representation. It's going to be over the amount, because it's like saying, well, I want to buy a bag of mixed lollies at the corner store and hand over $100 note. You wouldn't do it. You'd hand over a $5 note because you'd be getting some change back.
Right.
Just as an example. So.
Yeah. And there's little intricacies on how to do that too with XRP in specific. That's always a big question. How do I get my XRP on Lobstr? You actually use that key, but you also have to use another set of numbers. I forget what they call it. Shane, if you know what it is, there's two things you have to use. Actually, let me show you this real quick. This is I'm on Telegram right now, and I saved this earlier. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go.
And
So-
sorry, Andrea Foster, if you could mute, please, along with Donna.
Yeah.
Why are you talking to me like that?
So I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, I think I can go back and mute them here, but I was going to show you this real quick. This is a little quickie thing on the F-Chain. If you wanted to copy that address, this would be your wallet address. You're going to just copy that wallet address, and then you're going to have this DT number here, which I can't even remember, a destination tag. So there's
Okay,
there's going to be two things.
Sorry, Tracy, we're not seeing Telegram at the moment. We're
Oh, okay.
seeing
I'm sorry.
SS.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry. Hold
That's
on a
all right.
second. Let me go back to that real quick. And reshare. Start screen share. Telegram. Here we go. Sorry about that. But this is the little snippet that I wanted to throw up. This is in specific to if you wanted to get XRP onto Stellar. This is what you would do. Like Shane said, if you had your XRP stored on a Exodus wallet or a Trezor or some other kind of wallet, you just basically would copy your personal address, and then there'll be another screen or another block that wants this destination tag. So you actually have to do two things to get it there. And it's actually pretty easy. There's actually also a video here that I can share on my page. It's a YouTube video that walks you through how to move it if you just really need a step-by-step. It's pretty self-explanatory, but YouTube has a lot of how-tos as well on how to do that. I'm going to try to do one more thing real quick. Let's see here. Share screen. I've never done this before, but I want to see if this will show up. Is everybody seeing that? This is my
Yes.
phone. Okay, so if I go to my Stellar wallet, this is the mobile version. Okay, and I told you there's a mobile platform and a computer platform. One thing that I wanted to point out is once you sign up, whether you do it on the phone or the computer, they both work together. So like if you buy 100 XLM, you can open up your wallet and you can actually see it here. So like if you see here where it says 110 XLM, it's the same as what we were looking at on the computer. If I go back to, where is it at? Assets. So here's the Aqua. And all my other wallets, I have this. So that's probably why it's not showing up. But I'm basically going to add this asset to my asset list. Okay. So it says now it's added. So when you go back, here you go. There's Aqua. I don't have any Aqua right now, but if I want to buy some or trade for some, I can do that. Let's see, once I go back to assets, if it'll show up. Yeah, see, I'm still not seeing the button. But it shows up below your balance. It's a big button that they'll start putting on your account. And it just says, hey, convert your small balances to Aqua. You never want to do that, because really what we're doing, we're buying a lot of these assets in small denominations, like money wise. You may get on some of these assets and you might get 1 million of them for 10 cents or 20 cents or whatever. But if you hit that button accidentally and you tell it, yes, transfer that, you've just transferred, they consider that a small balance. So like if you bought one of the real important assets that, either Whiplash or Emily or someone has recommended, and you thought, well, that's great. But if you hit that button accidentally, it'll transfer those balances over to Aqua. So that was just one thing that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, never to hit that button. It'll show up eventually, and it'll mess you up.
And one of the things, just quickly to add on that, is always do a visual check on the confirmation screens that you get when you're either buying an asset or transferring an asset, because it will tell you that it's of a certain value.
Yes.
Now, Aqua is a percentage of a value of XLM. So if we look at XRP at the top at $100, XLM might be $30 in comparison. Well, Aqua is a couple of cents in relation to the 100 to the 30 to the 1 cent. So the minute if you happen to hit that transfer small balance and that asset gets grabbed, and all of a sudden you see 37 Aqua, go, whoa, hang on a minute. I should only really see 0.01 of an Aqua or 5 Aqua or 7 Aqua, depending on how many you're converting of what we refer to as the crap coins or the scam coins that come through. You're not going to see a huge value in those. So that is the first red button to just stop, take a pause, don't FOMO in, don't rush. One of the things to learn is with the Aqua side of things, it's a very low value in comparison to XRP, XLM, and our asset values. But it's a good value. I mean, I bounce between, as Tracy does, number of wallets. I'll do it weekly or bi-weekly now because I've got activity across those wallets. The Aqua does add up.
Mm-hmm.
And across 5 wallets on a weekly basis, if I can get 5 to 7 XLM, once you're in and you see what we can purchase asset-wise or what we can secure asset-wise with 1 XLM or 10 XLM, it's a worthy process, especially those of us who aren't on huge incomes, if at all, where you can build your portfolio, and then when the shift occurs and everything moves to Stellar, you'll then see the gains. So I think one of the important things to communicate, and Tracy, I think, will nod his head on this, this is not a day trader mentality. This is a set yourself up the right way, secure the right vetted assets, and understand the processes moving forward so that you become your bank. You become financially independent, financially self-sufficient, not needing any external help moving forward other than the help of the community that we build.
Yep. Let's see here. I was going to show everyone. So hopefully everyone's on Telegram. I was just going to show you one quick little thing. Let me find Whiplash. And Whiplash has been putting a lot of comments out there for a couple of years. Back in the day, he was way more. I mean, there would be some days he was 400 to 500 posts a day. I mean, it was hard to keep up with Whiplash. He was really, really moving. But if you ever get on his site, join his site. It's called Whiplash 347. He has a pinned message up here. And when you click that pin message, you're going to see something pop up that says domain assets. And I went through that pretty fast, and this has evolved over the last couple of years. When I first started following him, these were the main assets that he was promoting, the Indus Exchange assets. And I actually saved this in a little note here just to split them up. But if you were to go on back to the Lobstr Exchange and start looking some of these up, I was going to show you one real quick. Let's go back over there. Stop sharing here. And let's go over to here. So if you're in Lobstr and you're under assets, it will actually let you type in. So that first group of assets there were the Indus Exchange. And if you were to just say, let's go to Germany.indus.exchange, nothing comes up, right? So what we do, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go over to the SDEX. And because that is a domain name, I'm going to go up here to the search field. I'm going to select home domain instead of asset code or asset issuer. And I'm going to paste that in, which it didn't paste because I'm on a new Mac and don't know how to use it. Indus.exchange and hit search. And what comes up is a list of assets that are very good. These are ones that Whiplash has deemed are going to be very important in the future. Whether it's these companies have participated in nefarious actions of some sort, we don't know. But he is telling us, giving us clues that these are going to be good assets. Now, if you look at the price here, you see one token of this Porsche asset is 0.000018. I mean, it's unbelievable. And BMW, a lot of zeros, right? So everybody likes BMW. So let's click on BMW. Now, here's what the cool thing is about SDEX, and Shane may do something a little different, but this is how I do it. I hit the trade button, and what pops up is a couple of other wallets, but here's our Lobstr. We click on the Lobstr. And because I'm already signed in, I'm signed in here, and it brings the asset up. Okay, so on one side, and this is back in the trade button here. So I have BMW here, Lumens here, Stellar Lumens. So I'm going to hit my little swap. And Shane may do this a different way than I do it, but this is how I've always done it. And it seems to work for me. But I go to the sell button because I'm going to buy the BMW.
The important thing at this point
Yep.
is and I think it's a super important learning point.
Yep.
Is that your lumens need to be, or your XLM needs to be on the left,
Yep.
with your asset on the right.
Yep.
And then when you scroll down and hit sell,
Yep.
we're selling XLM to get the asset.
Yes.
We're not trying to buy the asset.
Yes.
Because if you've got them transposed at the top,
Yeah.
you can get yourself in all sorts of bother.
Yeah.
And
So
it does not make sense. So
and I'm going to, this is being recorded. So we'll just remember that always, if you're buying an asset, put the lumens on the left and make sure you hit the sell button. And when you do that, it's going to show you right now, if you buy one Stellar, you're going to get 70 million BMW tokens. So normally the way I do it, I don't know how Shane does it, but I normally buy 10. That's just me. That's just how I do it. But when I buy 10, I'm going to get 700 million BMW. Okay, so let's just go ahead and hit that sell button. Here's an alert that we told you before that this is a good asset, but because of just the way the world is today, you see a lot of scam alert things pop up.
One of the things to remember just on that is that in the Q post, they tell us think mirror.
Yes.
And also the fact that anybody can go in through Stellar Expert, which is another window to the Stellar network, and lodge a complaint
Yes.
against an asset being a scam.
Yes.
So what a lot of the black hats were doing, anytime there was an asset released within, I mean, the quickest I saw it was within 45, 50 minutes to an hour, a decent asset that was newly released, bang, had a scam alert on it. And it's like, well, what? There's nothing in it. There's been no activity. There's been no volume of XLM put into it, yet it's issued it's got a scam warning issued to it. So it's like, well, you know, the back research that we've all done that have been involved in this for quite a while, it's like, no, I can see the correlation between the existing market going down, this market emerging. And one of the big things with that is when you log in with a mobile device and you get to see the icons of the businesses that have been listed, for them to be listed for so long on an alternate trading platform, I'm sure as Batman sure that if Porsche had an objection to it and they could legally challenge it, there would be a whole raft of worldwide class actions for copyright infringement by all of these organizations against Lobstr and the Stellar network for using their icons. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and buy anyway. Proceed at your own risk. I mean, they keep throwing up these little warnings, but we're going to confirm and proceed, and you'll see the little sell button here flashing. And then all of a sudden it says order successfully created. Okay. And if you go to your history, you'll see, where's it at?
Yeah, take a couple of seconds to populate.
Yeah, it'll pop up. But if we go back over to assets, you'll see here is my 100 Stellar I started with. Here is the Aqua we opened, but we really didn't do anything with it. But more importantly, here is the 700 million. Am I looking at that right? Yeah, 700 million tokens of BMW. It's pretty impressive. And right now it's not worth a whole lot, but as Shane said, when the RV happens, when the event comes down, and we've heard that they're going to take the whole system down and bring it back up. So maybe at that point when they flip the switch, all of this is going to come back. I wanted to do one more just to give you a good idea. So let's go back over to Whip's page here. Let's pick another. I'm just going to stay on the Indus Exchange and show a couple because it's for time's sake, we're almost getting to the end anyway. Let's go to watches. I like watches. So we go back to SDEX. We close that out. We go back to our search. This is going to be another home domain. We're going to type in watches.indus.exchange and hit search. And here's some really nice watches. Rolex, Cartier, Omega. I mean, these are really nice. I think the most important one up here for me, everybody has their own preference, is Rolex. I'm going to click on to Rolex. It's going to open up again, and I'm going to hit the trade button. I'm going to choose my Lobstr option. And this is what we've seen before on the trade thing. We want to swap Lumens Stellar over to the left side. And then we want to come down. We want to hit sell. And here it's saying 1 XLM is going to give me 501 million. So I want to get a little bit more. So I'm going to buy 10 Stellar worth, and I'm going to get, how many is that? 5 billion? Is that what that says? That's what it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and sell. Here's our scam alert again. We're going to disregard that. And we are going to scroll down and watch the little dial. And pretty soon, once the sell happens, it goes through. Order successfully created. Look at my history. There's my 2 purchases that I've done tonight. If I go back over to my asset list, they're going to show up with everything else. And this is what I was telling you. You can pretty quickly fill up a wallet with 1,000 assets pretty quick. especially if you go and look at each one of these asset lists, it is, there's a lot on there. I mean, there is a enormous amount. Each one of these, some of them have more assets in them than others, but just the Indus exchanges alone are pretty hefty. You get into other ones, the Agro, Stellar, and these down at the bottom, they're more single assets, but they're more newer, I guess, if you want to call it that. Some of these are really new. Some are maybe a year old. They just vary from, a time period. But you can kind of see it's a big world out there. I guess I can explain it like, hey, you want to go shopping, and I'm going to take you to the mall. You say you have $1,000 and you want to buy some stuff. I can't tell you what to buy. I can tell you there's a sporting good place. There's a cookie place. There's a clothing store. There's all these stores and all of them are good, but it's up to you to buy what you think is best for you. But these are all assets, good assets that Whiplash has shared with us. I do want to show you one more thing here. We get off of that, go back to this. And I was going to share real quick. This is the collective spreadsheet. And the one thing that you notice if at the bottom, you really can't see it because of the way I've got this thing, but this spreadsheet, this file is humongous. I think it was a team of people that built it. I want to say Quantum Brownie started it, and it has just become a massive file, but it's out there for everyone to share. But the most important thing as far as the assets go is you see them all here listed, and they're in alphabetic order. So like earlier, when we were looking up Germany, for example, you can go down here and you can find Germany. And you're going to also see other assets on here that Whiplash doesn't have. Like you see the Germany Indus.exchange that we were working on. There's also a Germany.stellar-dex.io. Those are assets also. But you can see here, there is a link to the SDEX Explorer that we were on. And they have done a lot of tireless work, that just unbelievable work that they went into this. But what this does, when you hover over it and hit this link, it actually takes you to these sites and to these domains and to these assets. So they did a lot of the legwork for you here from this spreadsheet, and we'll share that on the video too. Once we record this and put it out there, it'll be at the bottom. But this is unbelievable data that they have put together for you guys. And this is, like I said, if you compare WIP's list and this list, I think for the most part, all of WIP's assets are on here, and this one actually has more than what WIP has. But they're all good assets. I recommend them. Shane, do you want to add anything to that? You're probably more familiar with this spreadsheet than I am.
Very, and it's been through about probably 30 to 35 iterations of the spreadsheet. We got it to a point where we couldn't add anything to it and had to work out that there is an actual limit to a workbook of this size, and we had to delete a lot of the unused columns to the right of what you're looking at now and pare it back, because columns actually take up space in the workbook. So we've maximized the actual space, so you won't be able to scroll any further left any further right than what the information is or the data that we need to display. But come into this spreadsheet through our Telegram group, please, and register, because we've got a lot of information and pre-information for people in this process. And between Tracy and the team of admins in the Telegram group, happy to answer any and all of your questions. And if there's something that we don't know the answer to, somebody will know. If not, we'll research it and find it.
Yep. And I was going to say, I think you can do this on a PC. Once you do get the file, you can actually save it as a favorite. So if you want to go back and don't have to go through and look for it every time, you just save it as a favorite and you can quickly access it. So that's about all I have for tonight. I just wanted to say real quick, Charlie Ward. I don't know if anyone knows Charlie Ward, but he has videos on BitChute. He recently did 3 videos with Emily on there, and they were very good videos. That was the first time I'd actually seen her, or anyone for that matter, talking about XLM and XRP on his channel, and he was really open to it. And Charlie is supposedly the voice of the QFS, so that was really really good information. So I was really impressed with that. But he is on BitChute. If you want to just look up Charlie Ward, and you'll see there's 3 videos out there that they did, and they were really good. But Emily talks a lot about the Stellar blockchain, and she talks about Lobstr and maybe a little bit higher level stuff. I mean, she blew away a lot of people on Charlie's channel, a lot of the listeners. Of course, I enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people, it was the first time they ever heard of a Lobstr wallet or XLM or XRP. So it was a lot of foreign listening to some of those folks, but there's been a lot of activity, I think, as a result of that video. And of course, don't forget about the collective Telegram page on Telegram. They have a lot of information. They have chat channels. There's a lot of people there. There's beginner courses, there's mid-level courses, there's high-level courses. They also do other things other than just blockchain and digital assets. They have a whole laundry list of stuff to do with humanitarian projects, and it's really great what you guys have done down there in Australia. I wish we had something more up here as sophisticated as you guys have it. I know it's up here, but it just seems like you guys are really cranking it out down there in Australia.
Not too bad for the people who live upside down, yeah?
Yeah, it's really good. I'm super impressed.
Yeah, I guess it's one of the things that connecting as we can on these digital platforms and creating these collaborations, it's a way to bridge the divide and bring everybody in a controlled manner. Because I know there's a question in the chat about how do they find the income generating assets and a lot of other stuff. Well, that we can cover in a future delivery. I think and without stealing Tracy's thunder, the important thing is that those people who haven't got a Lobstr wallet get one. Those who have one, as I said earlier, consider what your intentions are. If it's just for your own personal, because that's what your focus is, that's absolutely fine. But the fundamentals won't change. You need to set the wallet up. You need to make sure you've got all of your data recorded. And I don't know, Tracy, if you want to jump back to Lobstr on a share screen and just highlight the secret key that you need to record as well. Because if you ever get locked out of your Lobstr wallet, and I have been, the only way you're going to go down to settings, second from the bottom. Yep. So when you initially go in and set up, see how it says reveal secret key on the right hand side. Yep. If you can just click that, please. It's not going to reveal your secret key because you need to, and click again. You need to put your password in there for this account. Then it will display a secret key. You must record that. So if you guys jump on to the collective, on the spreadsheet, we have a list of YouTube resources where we've got a whole YouTube channel set up with the basics of what you need to do, how to set up, and little checkpoints all the way through that we recommend you follow, because we could sit here and go through the whole process from start to finish, but it's going to be at least 2 hours to explain absolutely everything.
Yep.
A lot of it is intuitive, because most people, 99% of the population that is on this call right now would have set up an app, would have secured an app, would have logged into a web page using a browser on a desktop or a Macintosh. So those sorts of things we don't need to really go back through. But having said that, if those sorts of questions come up, we're happy to assist as well.
Right.
So I'm just gonna, unless you want to go through the questions in the chat.
Yeah, I was thinking we're hour 15. I'm wondering if we should just stop the video here and then just answer questions off air. Or do you think it would be more important to?
It might be, well, I've always found it handy to record the questions because
Okay.
then a lot of people who watch it back
Yep.
may have a question.
The same
And
question. Yep.
exactly right. Exactly right.
Yep. Can you please put the Telegram page in the chat, please? So if you're on Telegram, you guys are what? Is it collective
Let me
resources?
just quick look, and I can do that.
And I think in Telegram, they do a @ in front of this.
Yeah, I'm just grabbing the link to the channel
Okay.
right
Okay.
now.
Gotcha.
There's the link right there.
Yep. Recently opened a Lobstr Wallet. I just signed into my account and noticed there are pending transactions. Where do they come from and are they safe to claim? You want to answer that one?
I can do that for you if you like. All right. So the process of the blockchain and the emergence of the digital asset space, essentially the coders who create the tokens or create the assets, they pay a fee. It's about $30 to mint a coin or to create an asset through the Stellar network. What a lot of the scammers will do is, as I mentioned earlier, the domain is very important. They may create if we use a Porsche as an example, they may create a Porsche.stellar.indus asset. However, the I in the indus may be a lowercase l, which, as you would appreciate, one character out on a URL, Universal Resource Locator, the web address that you, or the domain that you type in, that can take you to a completely different page. Well, same in this world, it will take you to a completely different asset. And if you think you're grabbing Porsche and you secure that asset, they cannot take anything out of your account. However, if you then put 100 XLM onto that scam token, once it's on there, you then continue on your merry way, do 3 or 4 days worth of loading up your wallets, go back and half of them have actually got 1 XLM or 0 account, 0 balance, because they've actually clawed back that token value that you've put in. So you must vet and verify every domain that you wish to secure a token from. That is why when you go to Lobstr and try and type in the domain, it will bring up all these different names of different tokens. You can scroll down, look at the addresses and pick the differences. You may need to copy that domain address, and it's one of the little tactics I used in the earlier days. I would copy that domain address, open up Notepad if you're working on a PC, or any text based replicator, Word, or one of the others, but Notepad is great because the minute you paste that domain in, it picks a generic basic text emulator, and you can see, depending on what the font is, the differences in the actual locator. That might be something we can do in another session.
Right.
You know, might be Lobstr 102, 103, 104.
Yeah.
We can go through those processes as well, because there is so much to this, but structuring and delivering this information in digestible sessions off the menu saves that drinking from a fire hose scenario, if you like, of all of this information at once. But
Shane, would you mind
Sorry,
copying the spreadsheet into the comments? Do you have that quickly available?
That I can do. If you want to grab another question, we'll
Yeah,
keep
let's
moving. Yes,
let's
absolutely.
see here. Let's see. Will all of the XRP Ripple or Stellar have availability for the buyback, or is there a correct XRP for the buyback? So there's really only one XRP in the blockchain world, which you can buy, and on not as many sites as you used to. In fact, like Coinbase, for example, they used to have that available, but it's not available anymore. That is, I guess, regular token. What Shane was talking about earlier was the wrapped version on XRP. I'm sorry, on the Lobstr Wallet. once, if the buyback happens, I think either one of those would work. Just when you get ready to swap it back over to maybe another wallet, you have to unwrap it, so to speak. And it does take a little longer when you're unwrapping that XRP and getting it back over to another wallet. But those, XRP on a exchange, there's only one. I mean, they may have some, crazy tokens out there that have XRP in the name of it, but there's really only one XRP. And on the Lobstr wallet, it's the fchain.io, and it's pretty easy to identify.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Telegram group again. I think we got that down there. Where do you find great income generating assets? So it's pretty much all of the income generating ones. That'll probably be another call, because there's a lot of those. And I don't know if we could share that in the chat or not, but
no, one of the things that I've done is in the last week actually produced let me just go to it. I produced a functional flow diagram, if you like, for the dividend-based assets, and I was going to speak to Tracy about that. We'll do that in a 102.
Yeah.
I think the important thing at this point is to learn how to do your own research on the assets that you are going to secure. I think, would you agree with that, Tracy?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So, I mean, the term "do your own research" is, well, you need to get your comprehension of what the process is and what we're looking at now down pat and to a level where you're comfortable in securing the asset. A lot of the domains, especially for the countries, a good example I can give is there's a small aviation firm based out of one of the South American countries that I would like to use for my humanitarian projects. They are listed under one of the domains. So how I verified that asset was I took that stock market ticker, go ABEV, please.
Yeah, this is
ABEV. Yep.
Trying
Just hit enter. All right, so ABEV comes up as Ambev SA, South America. So there's an overview to ambev.com Brazil in the About section, bottom right-hand area. So there's a background on what it is.
Cool.
So that is something that I did with each of the assets that I secured. That satisfied my perspective on this process. Because all of the assets on the collective spreadsheet were vetted by a number of the admins as we built it and moved through. So, for example, if Ambev SA is worth 2.72 USD at this point in time, if we go back to the spreadsheet or back to SDEX, sorry, for that Ambev search. So ABEV, so we're Brazil Indus.exchange. It's currently worth what? 0.000000004 of an XLM.
It's got a pretty good 7-day percentage, though. Look at that. Did you notice that?
Yeah. One of the things to consider with the Stellar network and where it's at this point in time, don't try and correlate what it's worth now to what it's going to be worth after the fact.
Right.
The only thing that is in the Stellar network at this point in time is the direct correlation of the value of the XLM that people are putting into these assets. However, if we go back to Lobstr, please, and we go to one of your assets that you've secured, if we go to BMW, open the asset, we will see that little graph of the activity. So there's nothing for today. You can click on the 1W. That goes back a week. See how we've got a spike there. If we go back 1 month, there's nothing prior to that. All right, so there's minimal activity on this asset since it opened. There we go.
It's a year.
So those spikes are people investing in it, but then it's settling across the network until the revaluation occurs and the assessment that's being done in the background by the white hats on what BMW should really be worth as an organisation. And all of that revaluation flows into Stellar, we're not going to know. However, as an example, if we do the same stock market value check with BMW in your search, I was going to say you could leave the word stock there and just go BMW stock, but that's all right. That's all right. That's all cool. Yep. So BMW currently is worth 33.9 USD. Considering the fact if we now go back to our Lobstr version.
Mini open.
It's all right. So for 0.000001 of an XLM, but we've secured in our Lobstr value, I'd be happy for the revaluation of BMW to be like 2 cents.
Yep.
Now, if you want to grab a calculator and do that calculation, that's fine. I don't need to. It's going to be a sufficient amount because when you extrapolate apply that formula to a number of assets across the board within Lobstr, it's very much a spread your portfolio across as many of the higher performers in the current stock market that you know of. Even if they revalue at a lower value, you're still going to get generational wealth.
Yeah. And I did the math. I just did 700 million tokens. If that particular asset goes to 2 pennies, you're looking at $14 million.
Well, 14 million XLM.
14 million XLM. There you go.
Now, if we look at the value of XLM at the moment, one of the so you've got 90 XLM left, and currently XLM is worth
8.08.
0.08. Now, if XLM on the revalue is tokenized silver, backed by silver, what's our price value on silver? Similarly, with XRP, what's our price value on gold? Now, rumor has it, the word has it, that gold has been undervalued on purpose to manipulate the market. Silver has been drastically undervalued. That's all right. That's why we're here to learn.
It's all fiat. It's all fake.
That's it.
And
fiat is fake.
Once we get to the real world and the real reevaluation of real money and all of that stuff that they've done to us for hundreds of years is going to go away. So we've been going about an hour and a half.
I was quickly just going to say, so we answered, or to answer, finish off the long answer, to Sarah's question regarding the pendings. Disregard the pendings at this point in time, because what those people will do who mint those dodgy tokens or those crap coins, they will throw them out there and put a fictitious value on them. If you claim it and then put further into it, that's when you'll get taken.
Yeah,
that's how they use the ruse, so to speak, to remove you, separate you from your XLM. So as the saying goes, a fool and his money are easily parted. All right, understand what we're working with. Do not worry about the pendings until we do a further session, or you watch the collective video on the pendings tokens, and it's completely up to you. Some people say don't go dumpster diving. There's way too many better options for you to spend 1 or 10 XLM on securing valid assets as opposed to worrying about the crap coins that are out there.
Dollar to silver is 120, gold is 873. So that's actually down. I've seen it a lot higher over the past year, but who knows? I mean, they're printing money so fast now, it's unbelievable.
Well, apparently everything after 2021, or sorry, everything before 2021 is dead from this Thursday for you guys.
Dead for the US?
Dead. US dollar. Everything issued prior to 2021.
Yeah. And I heard somebody say on that Charlie Ward video, one of those videos, that there's nobody printing money in this country now except in Fort Worth, Texas. That is the only place that's physically printing our fake money.
Yeah, that was, well, not the fake stuff, the new stuff.
Okay.
That was Nick Ragone is his name. He was a former Wall Street trader. He's come across from the dark side to the Stellar and QSI process, and he's put out some really good information. So yeah, strongly recommend people go back and watch those videos 1, 2, and 3 from start to finish. It will give you a great grounding. Then come into the collective Telegram group, and we've also got information in the lobby in relation to Bonfire Guy, his videos, Trump's executive orders, because that's where all of the seized assets on revaluation are going to be poured into the Stellar network.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding that those 3 executive orders exist, they still exist. They have not been cancelled by Biden administration because they can't. They could try, but certainly don't believe the White Hats have let them do that. And there's been way too much work done for this to not be genuine.
It is.
And if it isn't genuine, it's the greatest ruse on humanity, and we're all destined for the big dark pit. I would rather believe the positive, that it is for a positive sense, and it's level playing fields to put the money back in the hands, or the world's wealth back into the hands of the people who get involved with it. And that's where the humanitarian side comes into it. Because, with $50, I mean, the formula that I was given coming into it when I started way back when on Whiplash's page, $50 will secure your future. $500 will secure your family and generational wealth. If you were fortunate enough to put 5,000 in it, well, you will be one of the 1%ers in a similar position to the 1%ers now, but you have a duty to partake in humanitarian processes to right the scale and tip it back towards the wealth for everybody. So I think we've covered all the questions, haven't we?
I think so, for the most part. And, if you guys have future questions or questions down the road, you might have forgot something, you forgot how we did something, I will put this video out there and you can always go back on it. You can also come on my channel and ask questions, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. You can get on the collective channels on Telegram, ask questions in those chat channels, and there's hundreds, thousands of people on there willing to help you in any way, shape, or form. But Shane, I really appreciate you coming on and helping me out, because you did fill in some gaps that I probably would not have been able to answer, and that's what this is all about.
Absolutely,
we're all learning together. Some of us may have been doing this a little longer than others, but we all started at some point ourselves, and we all are here to help those that are willing to come in and be a part of it, learn it, and to join the Lobstr Wallet. And it's really a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun going through the assets and seeing some of the things on there, but just building up your wallet, just remember to keep everything organized. If you're planning on doing a lot of assets, I would recommend starting a spreadsheet yourself and just keeping it organized. But,
one of the things that I've created through the collective, one of our channels is called the Wealth Stewardship channel. I've got a sample and empty workbook in there so that as you secure your asset, you can copy the URL for that asset in Lobstr, the value that you secured it for, and whether it was a trade order or whether it was an opened asset on purchase or an unopened asset waiting for that order to fill. That auto calculates onto the main page, and you can see what you've invested versus what potential worth is after the fact. Again, that's more so to say, well, okay, I can see the value building, then decide on what humanitarian projects you want to undertake and, the things that you want to fix.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But somebody's actually asked if you could throw the link to your Telegram group into the chat, please, Tracy.
Let me see if I can grab it real quick. Goodness.
Well,
so I've got two channels. One is a chat channel, and I think that's the one most people are on, and it's actually just called Mr. Tracy Chat Channel.
Okay, so we can search that in
yes, do a search
Telegram
on that
and find it. Yep.
Yes, Mr. Tracy Chat Channel. It has actually the background of my video thing that's behind me now, the little XRP with a flag. So you'll know that's it.
And I think we've got testament to our efforts, our joint efforts in our collaboration, because Adele's come back from at the start. Thank you very much. I'm not as clueless as I was at the beginning of the call.
We help
That's
someone.
what we want to. That's what we want to hear.
That's
we
right.
help someone. That's it.
That's right. Well, guys, thank you all for joining and coming on the call. Shane, thank you again for everything you did. And we will possibly do more of these in the future, maybe 102, 103, whatever we want to call it. It's not it's always just a learning process, questions and answers. And we're always here to help anybody along the way. And if you do have questions, please reach us on those channels and we'll be happy to help you out.
Absolutely. And if you've got a quick 5 minutes, if you want to stay on, we'll have a quick debrief if you like after.
Sure. I'm just going to hit stop recording and then thank you again, guys, for coming on. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.